Hey there, welcome back to Luminous Energetics. It's me, Michelle Crisanti, and back as promised sooner than later. So welcome. I'm really super excited about this because, like I said in my last video, maybe you watched it, maybe you didn't, but my reintroduction video after being off for a year is that I've been gathering some really amazing information. We opened the CBD hemp shop in Eugene, Oregon, and it has really expanded my practice and my commitment to what I do, which is help people feel better. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, whatever. I've been there. I have been anxious. I have been fearful. I have been in pain. I have worked on it. And I want to share that. It's been my life's mission to share that. Now, some of you, I'm thinking about where this began in my life, and really, it started as a child. And as you know, children and animals, they're very intuitive and live in that really open state. And when you're a child and you are, say, you see somebody that doesn't quite vibe with you, you're like, mommy, and mommy goes, okay, yeah, you're right, that might be kind of a creeper. But then there's also the opposite where it's like, hey, maybe there's a family member or somebody that's, a neighbor or whatever, and they're just a little too nice or creepy and you know it as a child, and your family is like, oh no, go kiss Uncle Bobby or whatever, and you learn to just override that that internal aversion and become more socially nice, or more less reactive. And as we grow and we get more discerning and gets better, but when you grow up when you're a child and you experience trauma, no matter what that traumatic form is, that becomes imprinted in your body and your mind and your spirit and your emotions and all of that. And you grow up and it gets layered upon it. The longer the trauma or the stressor occurs, or the more repeated that stressor occurs, the more imprinted it is, and usually the more withdrawn and fearful and stressed and angry and all of those things people get. Now, when there's mental health issues involved, I don't like to say mental illness. I hate that word. The mental health issues involved because of chemical imbalances, usually caused by these external stressors or these repeated patterns or these familial and archived in our genetics patterns of behavior that come from our genetics, literally come in our genetics. We are sometimes playing out roles that we don't even understand where it's coming from. And there are medical paths that people take. There's medications that people can take. There's counseling. There's all of these, Western means of dealing with things. And then there's more Eastern approaches, which is, your meditation and, what am I thinking? Tai Chi and Ayurvedic food, and just all kinds of different ways to treat people. And I feel like because of who my parents were, I've talked about this before, both of my parents are bipolar, and bipolar 1, so meaning that they would kick off and flip a switch, and particularly my mother would cycle on a regular basis, would be put on medication, would ride that for a little while, would hate it, would get all the side effects, would get off of it, and meanwhile, my father was diagnosed, he was really, really, he would go straight to God, and he would go straight to science. I mean, literally one time took his Camaro apart in our driveway when I was in high school. After surgery, his chemicals were off. Took his Camaro apart and said he was going to put it back together to break the speed of light. This is crazy. Yeah, it has its moments, but it's also some high functioning brain action. And both of my parents are extremely intelligent, and myself and both of my sisters are extremely intelligent, and we're all involved in helping other people deal with mania and chemical imbalance and trauma in a more holistic way. We saw it play out. We saw how it played out, and I'm still watching it play out with my father, who maintained his levels of chemistry with lithium for years and years. And the only few times that he really got out of balance, like the time I just talked about, was when he had a surgery, his blood levels were out of whack, and his body was out of homeostasis, and sent him to the stars, like quite literally out to space, and at least energetically. And now he's suffering from some major health problems for having been on assault for all of these years. His heart is compromised, his breathing is compromised, and because they have to change his meds at 74 years old, his mental state is compromised. I know from experience that these things can be dealt with. You've got to admit that you need help. You've got to be able to admit and look at yourself and look at your stuff and look at where you came from and look at what created the situation you're in. And that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to help you with. I'll look at my junk. I look into the shadows, and I've faced some shadows, and I've faced some things that I really don't like about myself. I've faced times where I've blamed it on others. I've faced times where others have blamed things on me, where it's projection, and I know it. We're all learning, and we're all in it together. When I was getting ready to do this today, and I was thinking about what I was going to talk about and how this was going to go down, I caught a video from, I would say an acquaintance, but somebody that I respect and care for as a friend. Haven't seen in a while, but it's a Dr. Greg Eckel, and I'll share his work, and he doesn't know that I am bringing this in, but I was watching him today, and he's a naturopath and an acupuncturist, and works up in Portland, and he's now got a broadcast, and he was talking about the allostatic load, and I was like, boom, that is super important. Allostatic load, I'm going to read my notes here, is the cost of chronic exposure to elevated or fluctuating endocrine or neural responses resulting from chronic or repeated challenges that the individual experiences as stressful. Now, sometimes it's really easy to dismiss other people's trauma or stress or whatever as, you're overreacting, that wasn't so bad, and that's based on our own experiences. But if an individual experiences something as stressful and as fearful and as a challenge, then for God's sake, their body is going to respond to that in a traumatic and stressful response. And repeated times over and over, we're going to hold that vibration, and it's going to tremor. And one of the biggest things that people are finding now, and some of the research that's happening, and something that my sister Kimberly Hitchcock is involved with, is the trauma release. And that is like moving and shaking the body, getting out of those habit patterns, these old traumatic holding patterns. Because what do? When you get scared, you hold your breath and you hold it in and you shake. Well, when you shake and you hold that and your body starts to get used to that as your homeostasis, as your electromagnetic state of normality, you will continue to draw trauma in order to continue to feel like this is your homeostatic state and you're okay, because nobody's going to hurt me. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be sitting right here and I'm in my corner and and I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to individuate and blah, 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 blah. Been there. Sucks. One of the most important things that we have is each other and community. And we need to realize that every single person, I think, on this planet has been exposed to some form of trauma or not. Just this weekend, I know that we've all experienced the underlying jitters from what happened in Dayton and El Paso and Chicago and all over. We've got gun violence in America like at astronomical rates. And if we think that's not going to affect us, or we think that's not affecting us, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. Get on Facebook and you see that flash and somebody talking about it. Don't tell me that you're somewhere in your field, you're not feeling it, because we are all feeling it as a collective. And I'm here to say there are ways that we have to stop it within ourselves and to reach out to each other in our communities. And that's my mission, is to help you figure out and come to terms with and find ways to release and wash and clean and clear that from your system, whether it's physically, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally, whether it's spiritually, whatever you want to call it. Here to help, here to say I have been there. I understand trauma from the inside. I understand mental health issues from the inside. I refuse to allow myself to succumb. I refuse to allow myself to shrink. I refuse to allow myself not to live a full and exciting life connected to beautiful, amazing human beings like you. I'm here to inspire people to come, no matter where you're at. If you just need to, little fine tuning, but you're feeling pretty good, but you want to expand your practice, that's fine. If you're down at the lowest point in your life and you don't have any money, anybody to turn to, anything going on, I am here. I'm here to help people who are creative to rein that in, to create what you came here to create. Endoluminous is about reaching your highest dreams, to living in your light, to shining your light from the inside out. And it does involve the idea of dropping that allostatic load. Allostasis, let me talk about that for a second. Allostasis is about achieving stability through psychological or behavioral change. Reiki, energy work, some of the other shamanic work that I do is about helping you psychologically and behaviorally change. It's supporting you. I'm here to support you when you feel like you want to make those changes and you don't know where to go, or you don't feel like you're supported by anybody else. I'm here to help you come to center. Homeostasis is the steady internal physical and chemical conditions maintained by living systems. So bringing our bodies to homeostasis is what this is all about. If we're in allostatic load, we were carrying that allostatic load, and we are compromised by the amount of trauma and energy and compaction that is in our systems, we're not operating at our best, in our best way, and we're not going to live our best life. We're going to continually come back and, and every time something confirms that trauma for us, we're either going to pile it onto that allostatic load, or we're going to learn to release it. And if you stay here and you listen to what is going on and you ask questions and you connect, and there's something about this that says, I want to learn this, then please contact me right down here in the comments. I'm building systems so that, you know, I'm reaching out. I'm going to be doing more video. I'm going to be doing more classes. I'm going to do the, you know, I really am going to click, you know, have the click so that we can get together, so that we can support each other as a group, so that we can connect and unwind and release and wash and clean and clear. This also ties into the endocannabinoid system, which is a system that helps your body maintain homeostasis. And that's why the endocannabinoid system is a integral part of the endoluminous energetic system. I had no idea 25 years ago when I stepped on the energy work path that it was going to lead back to back to experience I had with self-medicating with cannabis, because honestly it has definitely been, you know, the more I learn about it, the more I realize that that's what was going on, and the more I realize that it can be used as a tool, and that's why legalization is happening, and that's why medical dispensaries and became, you know, legal first. And now as we're using it more recreationally and people are using it more available, it is more available to the general public, I feel like it's more and more important for us to understand the power of it and the usefulness of it, and understanding the difference between THC and CBD and CBN and CBG and the terpenes that go along with it, the essential oilness of it, and how that affects our body, and how little we actually need. I was talking to a friend of mine who was a director of the NAMI and works in the mental health field, and we were talking about, you know, how many people do not want to take regular and standard medications, partially because of the stigma, partially because people don't want to admit that they have an issue. It's hard. People in this society really look down. If you say you've got bipolar or depression or anxiety, people are like, get over it. And it's not that simple. It's not always that simple. It's stacked. It's an allostatic load that we're trying to release. And now bringing in cannabis and cannabinoids and CBD and learning to work with your own body is becoming more and more important than ever. Taking charge and taking control of your own health is the most powerful thing that you can do. And having people like me who have been there, who have done it, who understand it, who are fascinated by it, who are using and learning things in a holistic manner, who I do not tell anyone not to go to the doctor. I will never tell you not to get off of your drugs. I am going to tell you to go directly to your doctor and talk to them about the balance between the meds that are keeping you stable and what else you might want to use that makes you feel better, and work together with that. I want to work with healthcare professionals that want to understand people who use medical marijuana or medical it's not medical CBD, it's not FDA approved, but people who are seeking these alternative methods. I'm here to be a bridge in between Western medicine, or, you know, the medical community and the alternative healing community. We all need to work together. We're learning how this body works. We're learning how to tap in, and it is extremely important that we understand how to find homeostasis in our own bodies, and to have people to talk to. So I'm reaching out and I'm sharing this with you because I want you to know I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you understand. And if you are someone like me who's been there and has worked your programs, and you want to get out and help other people, I'm also here to help you create your programs so that you can do the same thing I'm doing, and so we can reach collectively together the masses, the people who need and want this information, whether they're working in the medical field, whether they're working in the alternative field, whether they don't know what they want, need, or anything else. What we want and need is to release the trauma, to release the fear, to release the unhealthy patterns, and to enjoy this life as long as we can. We're only here for a little bit of time, really, in the grand scheme of things, and there's so much to know, and there's so many amazing things happening. I can't even begin to tell you the exciting things happening in the spiritual and the scientific realm that I'm learning, and how those two things are merging. I've got so much information to share, and I want to be here. I'm going to keep coming back. So I hope you keep coming back for more. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you feel like this is touching you, or you know somebody that this could, help, then please share it with whoever. And thank you. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions or you just want to reach out, please do it. I'm also on Rock Reiki. I have a Rock Reiki page on Facebook, the Endoluminous Full Spectrum Education page on Facebook. Please come join me. Oh, CBD Hemp Shop page on Facebook. I'll put links in the bottom. Thank you very much for listening. Peace and love. I'll see you soon. Ciao.